Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're your hosts, David, Nick, and Joe. Boys, say hi to the people.
People.
What's up?
All right, everyone. So, another great weekend of college football. We're coming up on a huge weekend. A lot of big matchups, but we got to start it off with our winners and disappointments of the past week. So, Joe, you want to get us started?
Yeah, so first of all, my winner, I guess, is this one's going to be short, is going to be the punter for Boston College. He's a close friend of ours, okay, here on the show. And he actually hit a 51-yard punt that got credited to the other guy. So not great, but shout out to him for punting at a Power 5 school in a big time game against the number 3 team in the country and almost making an upset. You want me to go with my losers or you guys want to do your winners?
Okay, go ahead. Go with your losers.
All right, so I actually have 2 losers this week. Number 1, FSU. All right, I sat here 2 weeks ago and I said, Clemson is dead. Clemson is dead. Stick a fork in them. Rest in peace. Here lies the grave of Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers, right? And I said they had a lot of crap to work on. And I said that they were going to get smashed in week 4. And that while I was still worried about Notre Dame, and for Notre Dame's sake, that Clemson was all but a wild card for the playoff, I guess you could say. Watching that BC game, that BC FSU game, I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of saw highlights of it. But you are playing one of the worst Power 5 schools in the country in all of Division 1, and you're the number 3 team in the country. It's a warm-up game. It's a game where you need to fire on all cylinders. That's basically like a practice for Clemson next week. And you basically, I think, either looked ahead or just didn't take them seriously enough. And they came within 3 points, which is just straight up embarrassing for somebody who's supposed to be a national title contender. On that same note, even though they're my loser of the week, watch out for Clemson this week. Big dogs, big dogs. I think that if FSU plays that way, Clemson's going to keep it close. And if Dabo keeps it close, he's the better coach of the two people. So FSU, loser of the week, number 1. And then my second loser of the week is the head coach of the Iowa State Hurricanes, or whatever they're called.
Cyclones.
Cyclones, whatever, same thing. Matt Campbell 2 years ago, even 3 years ago, was told, oh yeah, you can apply for any job in the country. You're just waiting for a big time opening. You had Brock Purdy, you had Brees Hall, you had all these guys, you had all these dudes, right? You had all these dogs, and then never left while he had the chance, and now he's stuck there because the last 2 years he's had people gambling in his program allegedly. He's had 2 or 3 losing seasons in a row. He's gonna have another one. He just lost to Ohio. Last time I checked, Ohio is not a blue blood in college football. You're a Big 12 school. You should win that game. I know crazy things happen, but he's my other loser of the week. For some guy who had all the opportunities to go do something better. And if not, like, I get that you're loyal to something. I get that you're riding for the brand of the Iowa Cyclones, the Iowa State Cyclones. But if you're gonna ride for your brand, you got to make that brand good. And right now, he's putting that brand right in the toilet. So
Real quick, just want to go back to the Florida State BC game. I want to apologize to the entire fan base of Boston College. I didn't pay attention to the date and realize that was their for Wells game. Otherwise, I would never have made that pick of Florida State covering this spread. Those guys always come out focused on that game, and
yeah, they
wherever
do
they're playing, it's unfortunate for them because BC is going to fight just like Wells did. So
for
Well,
sure.
karma got you because you lost.
it did get me. So we're good there. All right, Nick, who you got for your winners and losers of the week?
So my winner of the week is anyone who is on the or is a member of the anti-SEC propaganda. As am I. Dude, they suck. The SEC sucks. I'm putting it. I'm calling it. They got Georgia, and that's pretty much it. I'm not impressed by anybody else in that conference. Their out of conference record is just atrocious. I know Mizzou beat Kansas State on a 61-yard field goal. Props to them, but I saw like a graphic that was like the top 5 SEC out of conference wins so far, and Alabama over Middle Tennessee State was number 5. Like that's just atrocious.
Yeah, and
So,
Did you
Georgia's not
see?
even and
Did
Georgia's
you
not even that sure of a thing right now. They
exactly.
were down at halftime to Rattler in the rat zone. So
in interesting fact about that Mizzou kick too? I'm pretty sure that is the longest kick in SEC history,
yeah,
but it
yeah.
is not the longest kick in Mizzou history.
Uh, Mizzou, Big 12 member Mizzou. Who could forget? Um, so yeah, SEC dead. I'm calling it now. Uh, Flash forward to week 11. They'll probably prove me wrong again, but you know what? I'm taking advantage of it now. SEC sucks. My loser, Colorado State, talked all that crap, couldn't back it up. Very entertaining game, but in the end, Dion and the Buffaloes roll on. One point I wanted to make about that game, though, is that all the hate and the death threats and all that stupid stuff going towards Henry Blackburn and his family is just ridiculous. He's a kid. Listen, I get it. The play was dirty. The hit was terrible. He shouldn't have done it. But there's no reason that his phone number, his mom's phone number, his family address, there's no reason they should all be on the internet. There's no reason that people should be flooding his social medias with death threats and just all this horrible stuff. So I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have made the hit. It was a terrible hit, but he shouldn't be subject to that. He is just a kid. So prayers to him and his family. Hopefully they are safe and nothing serious comes out of those threats. But Colorado State, you got if you're going to talk that much crap, you got to back it up. I did enjoy them doing all the Dion celebrations, though. I thought that was pretty funny. So
Yeah, hopefully Travis Hunter gets well quick. Um, but yeah, it was a rough hit. But Nick, you're right. No need to um, go beyond football in this case. You penalize them on the field, you penalize them in the program on it if you need to, but there's no need to take it outside of those hash marks. My winner of the week, it's got to be Washington. Their season so far, they have looked dominant. They have looked really, really good. Last week, they were in my opinion, the only top 10 team that was looking like a top 10 team. Everyone else um, had some question marks. I mean, I know Ohio State started putting up points in the end, but still got a lot of questions about them. Seeing if they can do it against big time competition. I'm sorry, Western Kentucky doesn't count.
Near does Youngstown State.
Neither does Youngstown State either, and don't even get me started on Michigan's out of conference schedule. Oof. But yeah, uh, Washington has just looked really good. Michael Penix, man, that guy can throw the ball. He's a Heisman contender. I see him in New York if he continues to do this, what he's doing over the entire season. And then my loser of the week is Tennessee and Coach Heupel. Disgraceful what went on there in Florida. You know, the game is in hand. You're down 2 scores, and you're calling timeouts in order to force another play, and then you go ahead and send your guys after a quarterback who's taking a knee and hit him after the fact. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just garbage. That is it. I'm at a loss of words for what that was, but it's just disgraceful. And Florida didn't do a great job of reacting to it either. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no reason to be looking like a bunch of monkeys with your heads cut off trying to fake punch each other while you're dangling down the side. Like, I don't even know what that video was, but it was hysterical. At the same time, just disgraceful. So,
did you mean chickens?
monkeys, chickens, whatever it was, I don't know what the heck it was. I can't
I
describe
think
it.
the saying is chickens with their heads cut off, but
Yeah, but they had their arms out
It's
like this, like you see the monkey with the barrel thing. You know,
It's just an embarrassing look, like for Josh Heupel, who rebuilt Tennessee and brought Tennessee back to its prominence last year, for us to really start seeing culture with less talent, right? That's when the culture is more exposed, is when there's less talent and when they're not getting the wins. And it's just sad to see. You shouldn't be putting the initially I only saw the video of Graham Mertz like running back 10 yards to try and take the knee on the right hand side. And I was like, what the hell is Graham Mertz doing? Why would he be doing that? No one does that when they take a knee. But then I saw why. It was because of the timeout was called for no reason when you're down by 2 scores. So that's just a bad look on Josh Heupel in Tennessee, and it's inexcusable.
Just sore losers, honestly.
totally agree. Well, with that, we're going to move on to week 3. So, boys, let's go ahead and give our locks of the week. Nick, you want to get us started off?
Yeah, as the only one who went 4-0 last week, I told you don't call it a comeback. I'm already back. Give me Duke over UConn minus 21.5. I just think that UConn is running. I mean, they looked good against NC State. I think they've run out of steam since then. I think Duke is starting to kind of put their offense together. So I think the Blue Devils win by 4 scores here. Give me Duke.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty simple. I said it in, I think, our first podcast back this season. I'm a believer in Devin Leary. I'm a believer in that Kentucky team this year. The offensive line is more veteran now. I think they all have across the line. They have 122 starts in their career. They have the wide receiver talent. They have the skill position talent. Vandy, I know they've built some wins under their belt so far this year. 1 or 2, I think 1. And I think I forget who it was against, but it wasn't a good quality opponent. So
I know they beat Hawaii.
cool. Yeah, Hawaii, exactly. So
Hawaii,
give me the Wildcats here to cover the 13.5.
Yep, I've got LSU over Arkansas, 17.5 point spread. LSU looked really good against Mississippi State last week. I think they're trying to get that sour taste of the Florida State game out of their mouth. And their quarterback just really, really good, really dynamic. Since it's not a primetime type game like that Florida State game, Brian Kelly's got no problems. So,
And Arkansas is not ranked.
yes, I think they'll be all right. That's my lock of the week.
KJ Jefferson, watch yourself on Snapchat, dude.
Oh, you're gonna have to fill me in after. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I will for sure. I pick him. Give me Oregon State over Washington State. I don't remember the spread on this one, but I just think Oregon State is a sneaky contender for the Pac-12 title this year. I know Wazoo is good, but give me Oregon State. I think that their offense will do enough to keep the ball out of Washington State's hands. I know DJ had a little bit of a more common game that we saw at Clemson last week, but I still think that he's doing much better in that system. Give me the Beavers.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty simple. Give me Wake here. Wake is still good. They're still they're still a classy part of a classy conference in the ACC this year. With all the bad takes on the SEC this year, I feel like it's just pumping up the ACC. So I'm an ACC stan this year. Give me Wake here over Georgia Tech, who is still in the crapper, if you know what I mean.
Yep. And I'm gonna drink a little bit of the Notre Dame Kool-Aid, Joe. I'm rolling with the Fighting Irish over Ohio State. I think that Sam Hartman's been phenomenal. That defense is really good, and they're able to run the ball well. It's going to be a tough game. Ohio State can run the ball really, really well with Travion Henderson. Let's see if their quarterback can figure it out, because they have some weapons on the outside too. But I think this is gonna be the first real test for both these teams. So this is prime time, must watch TV on NBC. So it's gonna be a very pro Notre Dame broadcast. So I'm just excited to watch this game, but I think that Notre Dame's gonna be able to pull it out in the end.
Real quick before you flip to the next screen, I would have chosen them, but you can't. I was always taught that when you start betting, You can never bet on your own team. It's bad luck. So I can't take Notre Dame. I will probably never take Notre Dame. But I really do think this is going to be a fantastic game. Honestly, I think it's pretty evenly matched because Notre Dame has the experience, right, with Sam Hartman. They have the guys there and they have Marcus Freeman, but then on the other side, you have the talent. You have Marvin Harrison Jr. who can open the field up. You have those talented backs. Can they use them correctly? Who knows? We haven't really seen it consistent so far this year. Sometimes it looks like they can, sometimes it looks like they can't. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and I'm really excited. I'm obviously rooting for Notre Dame as a Notre Dame fan. Let's hope they grab that W for us.
Go Irish.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. All right. Next up is the upset of the week. Nick, you want to get started? Start us off.
Yep. Kind of speaking to my anti-SEC propaganda, I don't think Bama's very good. Jalen Milroe is a starting quarterback again. Give me Ole Miss. You know, they went on the road, beat a tough Tulane team. I know they didn't have their quarterback, but that's a tough environment to win in. Give me the Rebels. I think that Lane Kiffin always has some tricks up his sleeve when he's trying to play Bama. I think at the very least, I think they cover the 7 points, but I'm picking them outright. Give me Ole Miss.
See, that's interesting. I couldn't do it. Anyway,
What you made an enemy now, Joe. You got to keep going up to bat.
I'll resume next week. I have lack of faith in if Lane Kiffin can put Saban in the ground like Sark did. But anyway, I'm going with BYU over Kansas. Kansas is good. Kansas was a fun story last year. It's nice that they're 3-0 this year, but I think that BYU team is dangerous. I think they're kind of a sleeping giant and that no one sees coming. They play tough football. They're gritty. I just think this BYU program is on its way up. Give me BYU to cover the 9.5 and win outright. Real quick, somebody needs to whether it be us or somebody else needs to queue up a Kane over Undertaker when he hits him with like a steel chair or something, and put Sark's face on it and put Saban's face on the other one.
I will say somebody saw BYU coming because someone picked him over Arkansas last week.
Yeah,
Crazy.
well, I feel like even though we see him coming, I feel like their opponents do not. So if they're gonna sleep on him, I'll take it all day.
100%.
Yep. This week was tough for me trying to find an upset that I felt good about. These were the two games I was coming down to was Ole Miss, Alabama, and BYU, Kansas. We've got our rule of it needs to be at least a touchdown spread for it to be an upset. That may have to change as these games get better and better, and we have more closely contested competition. But for this week, I'm gonna roll with Ole Miss over Alabama, just because I think that Alabama's offense is in disarray. They're going back to Milroe, which I think is the right move, but there's a lot going on over there in Tuscaloosa that they're trying to sort out. And when you're getting bullied in the trenches against USF, that speaks to a lot of issues going on in that program right now. So they'll have to get themselves sorted out. But I think Ole Miss is gonna. I mean, can you think of the last time you've gone? No, actually, no. They won the game, so they're not back to back. Saban avoids that, but I think he gets his second loss this week.
Here's the thing. I've done a lot of thinking this week on this Alabama program as an anti-Nick Saban a spokesperson on this podcast now. And I would just like to say that Nick Saban, like, first of all, you brought in this whole experiment that he's done this year is just from the beginning has just been ass backwards in plain terms, right? He brought in an offensive coordinator that only ran the ball at Notre Dame and threw to the tight ends. He did not throw to wide receivers. He couldn't teach a quarterback how to throw. And when that guy was at Notre Dame, that guy wasn't a good thrower. So you brought in a guy who does all of those things, and you gave him your worst running backfield in probably a decade and a half since I've been alive, since I started watching the sport. And you gave him the worst wide receivers possible that you've had in probably over a decade. and you gave him a group of misfit toys in the quarterback room. And for a coach who didn't know how to coach in the first place at Notre Dame, you handed him a job at Alabama. So I'm not really sure what he expected when he was going to go into a tough SEC that was going to be closer than we all knew it was going to be. So I don't know. I feel like this is Nick Saban's fault. As the anti-Nick Saban guy here, I was going to say that anyway, but I did a lot of thinking. This all comes back on Nick Saban. All right. Don't blame my Notre Dame guy, Tommy Rees. Forgive him. He doesn't know what he's doing over there. Forgive him for he has sinned. Okay. He got hired. He saw the big giant scripted A and he was like, I have to take the job. But little did he realize he doesn't have any of the talent in any of the positions on offense that Alabama's had the past decade and a half. So it's my take.
I think that's a good place to leave that there. We'll move on to our over-under section. Nick, you want to get us started?
I'm going to double dip here. App State ECU last week was electric. Hit the over in the third quarter. It was the easiest win of the night. So I'm going to do it again. Give me App State and Wyoming this time, over 44. I just think that's an insanely low total. I think that App State's offense, again, is electric. I think Wyoming is going to have to score points to stay in this game. And again, it's more fun to root for points. I think someone on this podcast learned that the hard way last week. So give me the points. Give me App State, Wyoming, over 44. I think it hits in the third quarter again.
Bro, I hit the under. What you talking about?
You were rooting against points. Un-American.
But I hit the under.
But un-American.
So I was just gonna go into my take real quick. And I was gonna start that by saying the only way to be a true American, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like Captain America, like George Washington, like Abe Lincoln, like all of these guys that are true American heroes, right? Is to take the over. I will be taking the over every single week on this podcast. So you can just keep that little red bubble right there. Okay. And you can just switch the teams. I want the Fighting Greg Schianos of New Jersey to play Michigan and go over the 44.5. So that's my take.
You calling Rutgers to go score 44.5 on Michigan and win the game? Is that
No,
what I
no,
just
no.
heard here? Is that what I
No,
just
no,
heard
no.
here? I think that's what I heard. Nick, I think that's
Combined,
what I
I'm
heard
saying.
here.
I want the Fighting Greg Schianos in coordination
Well,
with
the
those
upset
Michigan
of the year.
Wolverines to go over 44.
Harbaugh's still suspended. This is the last chance he got.
No, I think he's back.
Make him pay.
I think he's back this week.
No, this is what, week 4?
Give
Yeah,
me
it was
the
originally
over.
Game
four.
suspension.
Give me the over in the Mister game.
All right. Well, all I'm going to say is I was right. You guys can be mad about it. I knew what I was talking about. Florida, Tennessee, hit that under. Easy. Do I like points? Yes. Did I consider the Oregon Colorado game with an over under of 71? Yes. You know what? I need to get back in this game. I am down 2 games. I need to make some progress. I need to make good picks. So you know what, Nick? You're not going to take them. I'm going to take your Utes here. Utes and UCLA. They're going to hit the over 51 points.
Hey.
That's the most Vavona thing to do is take the Utes.
That's right. You know it. Utes all day, baby.
I'm waiting for the right time to take my Utes again, but it'll happen. Cam Rising needs to come back.
Don't matter. They're putting up points.
Yeah, you're not a true fan, unlike your brother.
It's the first time he's ever picked them. I picked them like every week last year. They're my team.
Shame.
Thing is that every time you pick them, they lost.
No, I picked against USC and they won. Thank you very much.
All right, you were 1-3 with them.
In an electric Pac-12 after dark game.
He's addicted to the Utes. You can't help him. He needs rehabilitation, you know?
And once Cam Rising gets back, I'm fully going back into that addiction. It's going to happen.
Oh, God help us. He's going to relapse.
Every single one of Nick's picks going forward is going to be Utah.
Yeah, I'm just taking them everything. I'll figure out a way.
That's like M and Elon. Upset of the week, Elon. Pick him, Elon.
Hey, you gotta love it.
At least Utah has a shot of actually making it right, unlike Elon.
You're right. You're right. I'll give you that.
All right. Well, I think that's all we've got. We have descended into madness. So thank you for joining. And as always, go Tigers.
Go Irish.
Go Tigers.